Hello everyone, Shavua Tov, and welcome to our weekly Zohar for the soul. Today we're in Parashat, this week we're in Parashat BeHaalotkha. And Parashat BeHaalotkha has a very similar context to the previous two parashot because Parashat Bamidbar was about counting the Israelites. Okay, counting the Israelites, what does it mean? We spoke about it, it's Naso et Rosh Bnei Israel, raise the head of the children of Israel. And we said it's about if you really want to create a complete system, you have to raise the head of each person in that system, because whoever learns business and management knows that when an organization is working, the speed of its productivity is determined by the weakest link. And that means if you do not raise the consciousness of every link in your business, in your society, in your company, in your group, in your team, your family, everybody has to stay behind. Why? Depending on the one that that's always behind. Okay? So if you don't raise the head of each person, they're going to become the weak link. And that's very important. That's why on Mount Sinai revelation, we just celebrate Shavuot, every Israelite had to understand that without him, there won't, or her, there will not be Mount Sinai revelation. It's like you need a minyan, 10 men, for start a service, a prayer. For the revelation of Mount Sinai, we needed 600,000. Everybody counts. Now, then, Parashat Naso last week also starts with the word Naso. Again, raise the head, which is again the same theme. And this parasha, which is the book of Numbers, chapter 8, verse 1, it is about BeHaalotkha. BeHaalotkha means, it's one word in Hebrew, which means as you raise and make something go up and ascend. Okay, that's one word in Hebrew. English is a little differently, but that's one word. And what as you raise and do what? And the answer is just verse number 2. דבר אל אהרון ואמרת אליו, talk to Aaron and tell him, BeHaalotkha, as you raise and ascend the candles, אל מול פני המנורה יאירו שבעת המנורות. In front of the face of the menorah, the candelabra, the temple is famous for the 7 candlesticks, candelabra, which is a symbol of Israel. You can find it, it's being shown on the Gate of Titus in Rome, when the Romans robbed the menorah from the temple in Jerusalem. Okay, it's not the only thing they robbed. Okay, but when we're talking about, basically, how do you translate that? And, in the simple translation, when you kindle the lights of the menorah, but that's not kindling. BeHaalotkha means raising. Raising what? Raising what? The candles. And then there's another question. El mul pnei menorah, in front of the face of the menorah, Ya'iru will shine and light. Shiv'at hanerot, the 7 candles will shine. Just a second. If Aaron lights the candles in the menorah, it should be inside in the menorah. The candles, the 7 candles, will shine. What I mean, in face of the menorah. We'll see, the Zohar will explain. But this is not the only thing, but it's the beginning of the parasha, which is a very interesting parasha. So Aaron did so, whatever he was told, and he lit the candles in front of the menorah, in front of the candelabra. The same way God ordered Moses. And here you have how the menorah is structured. Okay. Now, then we get again another story that's like 4 verses. Now the parasha moves to another story. There are a few stories in this parasha. And that's in Numbers 8, verse 5. And God speaks to Moses, verse 5, Kach et HaLevim, take the Levites from amongst the children of Israel, and purify them. V'ko ta'asena, that's how you purify them. and you should bring the Levites close to the tabernacle, and you gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel. Because the Tel Aviv, and then you bring the Levites in front of God, and then V'samchu bnei Yisrael et yedem alavim, and all the Israelites will put their hands on the Levites, blessing them. Okay? And then the next thing, listen carefully. Verse 11. V'henif Aharon et alavim pnufa lifnei Hashem. And Aaron will lift up the Levites. Do you know how many Levites there were? It says later on about over 20,000 Levites. And Aaron, the high priest, who was over 80, had to lift them up. What are you lifting them up? What is about raising the head? What's about BeHaalotkha? It's all about lifting something somewhere. What are we talking about? You get the hint. And the Levites, who are the Levites? You know that the Levites represent, if you have, by appointing the Levites to their job in this parasha, now the nation of Israel on Mount Sinai is made of three major parts. One, the Kohanim. Second, the Levim, the Levites. And third, the Israelites, the rest of the Israelites. Now, Kohen, Levi, Israel. Whoever knows Kabbalah knows Kohen, Levi, Israel, initials Kli. Kli means a vessel. Kohen is the chesed, the energy of loving kindness. Levi is the gvura, judgment, overcoming, empowering, and so on. Music. And central column is Israel. So what's a whole? Complete vessel, and we spoke last week about what does it mean whole. Whole is when the whole is more than a sum of its parts, right? Because when the parts get together, they create something that is more than all of them, and it's not any of them, of its parts. So, what's the whole thing about lifting up the Levites? Can you imagine Aaron lifting up 20,000 people? Okay. So the Levites did that, and here it is. Okay. Then chapter 9. And God speaks to Moses in the desert of Sinai, but on the second year of the Exodus from Egypt, on the first month, and they celebrate Passover. So we are here on the second year, the first time now they celebrate Passover as free human beings. Nobody's chasing after them. They are a free nation celebrating Pesach. Okay? How do you know they were free? The next thing will teach you they were free. And what does it say? But there were some people who were impure when the holiday of Pesach started. And that means that when you celebrate Pesach with the tabernacle, they already had the tabernacle, they celebrated, dedicated tabernacle 2 weeks earlier. Okay, now they have a tabernacle, they bring their offerings, and now some people are impure, and that means you cannot bring the offering of the lamb, and you cannot eat the Passover offering. Okay, so what happened? But there were people who were impure. So what happened? Those people who were impure, they came to Moses and Aaron on that day. And what did they say? We are impure. Why should we be outcast of the congregation? You know, that's an amazing thing to know that you are free. When you're not free, you have a slave mentality. You sit in the corner, being outcast, and you say, whoa, 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 I'm bad, I'm terrible, I'm not lucky, I'm this, I'm miserable, I'm not like everybody else. That's what people do. Slaves mentality, that's what they do. But free human beings, what do you mean free? Freedom means that you have trust 100% that more than you love God, He loves you. More than you want His bliss, He wants to share it with you. You know what does that mean? Being free means that we are now impure. We cannot receive the immense amount of light of Pesach. How can God give it to us? Because we cannot get it right now. Because they were so sure, doubtless, that more than they want the feast and the happiness and the excitement and the light of Pesach, God wants to give it to them. So they come to Moses saying, like, how would God give it to us? We didn't get it. What do you know? What do you think? And Moses says, I don't know, I'll ask. He doesn't say, shame on you. You know how many religious clergy, doesn't matter what religion, it's like the same disease in many religions. How do they say, think, you should sit in the corner and think, how come you're not lucky enough to get that power? Something is wrong with you. And then you sit in the side, in the corner with guilt. No, that's not the Torah. The Torah says we should get it because God wants to give it to us. And we don't know how to because we can't get it right now, not today. And Moses doesn't say you should sit in the corner and shame on you. How dare you even think that you deserve to get it? He says, I'll ask. And God is asking. And God says to Moses, verse 10, talk to the children of Israel, le'emor, ish ki et tameh lanefesh. Now he says it as a ruling. If any person will be impure, which means he cannot receive the light of Pesach, he cannot celebrate Pesach with the whole congregation because he's impure or because he got stuck on the road and there was traffic, whatever, and he couldn't get, the roads fell apart. There's stuff like this, and you can't get on time to Jerusalem for the Pesach. Okay? On the second month, the 14th day of the second month, they can do Pesach. You have a second chance. A month later, exactly a month later, you can do this Pesach al matzot u'merurim yochlu. You should bring the offering of the Passover lamb and eat it with matzah and maror. What does it mean? It means not just about Pesach. It means about everything. One of the most horrible things a human being can think to himself is, I miss the boat. I miss the train. It's too late. I will never get there. It's not in my lifetime. I'm never going to be happy. I'm not going to find my calling. I don't know who I am. All of this like miserable nonsense that people say. And here the answer is, it is never too late because you'll always get another opportunity. You just have to look for it. Because the moment those people came to Moses saying, we can't believe God doesn't want to give it to us. And Moses is asking God, and God says, of course, they deserve to get it. In a month from now, there's going to be the next full moon. You do, and that's called Pesach Sheni, second Pesach, which is a month after Pesach, the next full moon. If you didn't have the opportunity to do it in the first one, second chance. Life is full of second chances, third chances, fourth chance, fifth chance. What is being alive? Being alive means you got another chance. That's why we say every morning, when we get up in the morning, the first thing we say, Modeh ani lefanecha, right? I'm thanking you, God, that you brought my soul back into my body. Shechzarta binishmati lechemla, Rabbi munatecha. Great is your faith. Not my faith, his faith. Why? If you gave my soul back into my body, it means that you have faith in me that today I'm going to make it. What if I didn't make it in the last 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 80 years? If your soul got back into you this morning, It means that God believes that you have the opportunity. You can do it today. So simple. So simple. So, like, who has, he has the faith in me. I should have the faith in him. And if we wake up every morning this way, life, we're going to find the chances. We're going to find the boats and the trains and all the stuff that we think that we might have lost and missed and so on. No, they're always waiting for us. We just have to trust that that's possible. Okay. Remember, we did not explain yet about the candles. Okay, then after that, in verse 15, chapter 9, verse 15, ביום מקים את המשכן כיסא הענן goes back to the establishment of the tabernacle. On that day, the cloud of glory covered the tabernacle. Okay? And at night, you can see clouds at night, so it looked like fire. Can you imagine? You're with Moses is giving classes every day, right? You don't see him on YouTube. You just walk there and you see him, live performance. Okay? When he's talking, the cloud of honor is sitting on the tabernacle behind him. And if it's night, it looks like a pillar of fire. Wow. Ken yet tamid ha'anan. It was always like this. Okay? It looks like a cloud during the daytime and like a fire at night. When the cloud raises above the tabernacle, everybody knows it's time to travel. And when it settles, it's time to settle. Okay? And then it says, Al pi Hashem, verse 18, Al pi Hashem yisu bnei Israel. So, you don't have to, when are we leaving, where are we going? Moses tell us, no. You just wake up in the morning, you look at the cloud is there, okay, we're not leaving today. The cloud is moving, okay, everybody pack up, we're moving. Where are we going to go next time? And you're moving, you're moving with your whole community, with your synagogue, with everybody moves together. You don't have to relocate. How I'm going to find new friends, new school. No, the school is moving with you. Okay? That was kind of nice. So sometimes the cloud settled, says the Torah, settles for many days and everybody camped for a long time. Sometimes it was only a few days. Okay? Or yomayim, or chodesh, could be 2 days, or month, or a few days. Okay. So then God says to Moses, עשה לך 2 חצוצרות כסף מקשה תעשה אותם. ויהיו לך למקרא העדה ולמסע את המחנות. So that's chapter 10, verse 1. When God says to Moses, make trumpets, silver trumpets, 1 piece, and whenever you're moving, maybe somebody is sleeping late, they don't see the cloud has moved, you have to, blow in the trumpet so everybody knows we're going, we're moving. Okay? What did they do with the trumpet? The trumpets when they came to Israel. You're not moving anymore. This is it. This is your home. You're not moving anywhere. Okay? Youdkevitch Torah. So they were blowing the trumpets in the beginning of the holidays and on Shabbat. Years ago, when they were doing the diggings in the excavations in the southern wall of the temple in Jerusalem, and they found the corner stone of the top tower, southwest tower of the Temple Mount. And on that huge cornerstone, it was like the corner on the top, it said in Hebrew, BeHaalotkha, which means they engraved it in the quarry that stone should be taken to the place of the trumpets. It's still there. You can see it, and you can read it in the Hebrew, like every kid. If you learn Hebrew at school, you can read it. It says BeHaalotkha, for the home, for the place of the trumpet. So that was the place. At that corner, they will blow the trumpets on the coming of Shabbat, the coming of the holiday. Okay, so now we know what happened with the trumpets when they came and settled in Israel, in Jerusalem. Okay, also when it's a time of war, they would blow the trumpet. And now there's a story on verse 11, chapter 10, about the traveling of the people and what's the order of the traveling. Okay, can you imagine the trumpet being blown, and then you see the cloud moving, and then everybody moves after them, and everybody knows their order. That tribe first, and then the second tribe, the third tribe, and everybody has the amazing just watching that. Okay, we don't have any video left from that time, unfortunately, but you can imagine. Okay, then there's another story I want to relate to, so about Jethro saying, you know, everything is so great, I have to go because I want to be with my people. And you think like Jethro, don't you want to be in such, wow, with Moses, the clouds, the trumpets, the 12 tribes, the tabernacle? Like, who doesn't want to be part of something like this? But Jethro, he said, I got so much good, and I need to share it. Because when you're really flooded with good, how do you know that you're flooded with good? You can't help yourself but share it with others. Then comes verse 35. Okay? And it says, Vayhi binsoa ha'aron vayomer Moshe. And when the ark would travel, Moses would say, Kuma Hashem v'yafutzu oivecha. Raise up, God, and your enemies will be scattered everywhere. V'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha. And your enemies will run away from you. And when the ark will rest, Moses will say, Shuva Hashem rivavot alfei Israel. Okay? We say that verse every time we take the Torah out of the ark, right? We say, Vayi binso Aaron, vayomer Moshe, Kuma Hashem v'yafutzu oivecha. And if it's Shabbat or a holiday, after we close the ark, we say, Shuva Hashem rivavot alfei Israel. We still say it. Yesterday we said it in every synagogue around the world. They said the same verse. But there's something very special in this verse. In many chumashim, they don't show it. In many congregation, people don't even realize that. But if you look at the Torah, this verse that I just read, number 35 in chapter 10 in Numbers, there's a backwards nun in the beginning of the word, the beginning of the verse, and at the end of verse 36, there's another nun turned backwards. In the Torah, it's not a word, you cannot pronounce it, it's never being pronounced. That these two nuns, backward nuns, are there in the Torah. Some chumashim, you have it, some you don't have it. Even the ones who have it, you don't notice. Most people have no idea that that's what's going on. Why do you, if that nun is missing, if the Torah is not kosher? What are the two nuns? We will see. The next, immediately after that, it's chapter 11, verse 1. And it says, Vayhi ha'am kemitonanim ra beoznei Hashem. And the nation were complaining evil in the ears of God. Vayishma Hashem vayichara po, and I'm literally translating it. And God heard, got angry, and vativar bam esh Hashem, and the fire of God burned in them. And vatochal b'tzar machane, the fire started to consume the edge of the camp. Vayitzak ha'am, verse 2. And the nation was shouting to Moses, Vayitzak ha'am el Moshe, vayitpalel Moshe el Hashem, vatishka esh. And Moses is praying, and the fire disappeared. Vayikra Shem hamakom hahu tavera. And they called the place burning because of that. V'asafsuf asher bikirbo. And the mob inside, hit'avu ta'ava, they had lust, and they sat and they cried again that they don't have meat. And it says the words of Vayomu, they said, who will feed us meat? And you look at that and you think, maybe this is one of the most anti-Semitic texts or documents. Here you have this like story of the tabernacle, the cloud, and what do you need? Meat? And everybody's crying, I don't have meat. That's what you need right now. That's what you need now, right now. Okay, we had a great event. Where's food? And they cry, "V'zacharnu et hadaga." Remember the fish that we ate in Egypt for free. For free? It's like somebody complaining that in Auschwitz, they ate for free. You missed the good old days in Auschwitz, right? How does that sound like? So, how can you understand what's going on? Not just that, the fish. It says the zucchini, the watermelons, the onions, the garlic. And now, nafshenu yevesha, our soul is dry because we don't have anything but the manna. The manna. The manna was everything. The manna was everything. It was healing. Nobody got sick while you ate manna. Nobody had the heartburn. Nobody had any ulcers. It healed your body. What is this complaining? In this case, and it says in verse number 10, Vayishma Moshe et ha'am boche lemishpachotav. And Moses hears that the nation, everybody sits, families, and they gather and they complain. This is such a, what's the word? It's a dichotomy. At the beginning of the parasha and that part of the parasha, what's going on over here? And Moses says to God, Lama hareota lavdecha, what have you done to me? Lama lo matzati chen b'einecha, why you didn't like me? That you put the burden of all of this nation on me. Ha'anochi hariti et kol ha'am hazeh, did I give birth to all of this nation? Did I carry him in that nation in my womb that I need to take the responsibility? Okay, where am I going to take meat for all of them? I can't carry the burden by myself. That's verse 14. If you do this to me, kill me. What else do you want me to do? What can I do with them? So God says to Moses, gather 70 people from the best people of Israel, and you come with them, and I will give my spirit on those, so you are not going to be carrying the burden by yourself. Okay, and that happens. Each of them is getting prophecy and so on, and they get the quails, and they get the meat, and it goes on, this story, all the way till almost the end. And then you have the story of Miriam speaking evil about Moses. She gets leprosy. He prays for her. She heals. What a parsha, right? So how are we going to explain this parsha, right? We just gave an introduction for half an hour, okay? How long would it take me to explain it, right? I don't know. I don't think we have the time. Okay, so I know some of you will stay forever, but we don't have the time. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. And usually the beginning is the seed, so it has the answers also for the questions of the end. And what does it say? In the beginning, Parashat BeHaalotkha, we said we had an issue with how can Aaron raise the candles, okay, in front of the menorah? It should be said on the menorah, not in front of the menorah. It says that 7 candles will shine facing the menorah. Okay? So here comes the Zohar and gives us an explanation. And that goes together with the first two parashot of Bamidbar. And also the late part with the bad stuff of the parasha, that will fit in also. So it says like this. Zohar BeHaalotkha, I'm reading from the Sulam, the commentary of Rabbi Ashlag. And it says as follows, verse 1. Happy Ashrei Chelkam. Ashrei Chelkam means happy is their share of Israel, that God wanted them. V'natan lahem Torah emet, and He gave them the true Torah. Etz Chaim, which is a tree of life. Shebo yoresh Adam Chaim laolam. Connecting to the tree of life, the person connects to eternal life. To this world and to the next world. Remember, this is something that is very important. There are some religious leaders who tell you, try to convince you that if you suffer in this world, it means you're going to have amazing heaven in the world to come. From what we read over here in the Zohar, this is not what the Torah is teaching us. The Torah is teaching us that when you connect, how do you know you're really connected to the Torah? Is because you are experiencing life, living, the energy of life, the power of life in this physical world, and you will continue experiencing in the world to come. Which means the fact that somebody has a miserable life, it's not a promise that he's going to have a great life in heaven. Why? Because what we learn in the Zohar is that in heaven, in the Garden of Eden, there's a place only for the people that learn how to turn darkness into light and bitterness into sweet. Who will teach you how to do that? The Torah. The purpose of studying Torah is to give us the ability. It's a mental acquired ability to turn negativity into positivity. And if you are going through a negative life and your life is miserable, it means you're not doing the job. And you cannot be comforted, but if you suffer over here, you're going to have a great life in the Garden of Eden and you're going to enjoy it. This is a lie. If you cannot turn darkness into light and bitterness into sweet in this world, you're not going to the Garden of Eden. I have some news for you. You're coming back again because you didn't get it. And coming back again means you'll have to experience the whole thing all over again till you do it right. How? How are you going to do it right? And that's what the Torah is teaching us. That's why whoever is occupying himself in the Torah and holding on to it, he has life. What does it mean he has life? As we said, how do you know somebody has life? He feels good about his life and he wants to share it with others. That's very simple. When you're miserable, you share misery. When you're excited and happy about life, then you're happy. And you want to share it. So if you separate yourself from the Torah, whoever separates himself from the Torah, says the Zohar, he's separated from life. What's that? What does that mean? Because the whole Torah is about life. Everything in the Torah is about life. And so this is the tree of life. So what does it mean? The Zohar goes into explaining. And he says, we have in the Torah, you have in the light coming to this world, you have three aspects. One aspect is the right column, chesed, loving kindness. Abraham is a symbol for that, and we learned Genesis. And you have the judgment on the left, which is the negative. Negative does not mean evil. Negative means if you have a negative in electricity, can you operate any device without a negative? No. You need a plus, you need a minus. You need both of them. Okay, however, you need also a kind of a resistor in between so it does some work. Okay, if it's a light bulb, it's a filament. Okay, the resistors, that's where the work is being created and generated. Okay, and that resistor is the body. It's called what we call central column. Okay, now what does that mean? So we explained in the last 2 weeks, and I explain it again because this is a very, how would I say, this is the hardest thing to understand and the most important thing to understand. Again, I did it many times. I'll do it again. We're now in the month of Sivan, Gemini, the sign of Gemini. The sign of Gemini is the twins, and twins means two who are one. And that's why on Mount Sinai we received 2 tablets. Why? To show that when you can take 2 and become one, when it's not me and you, when it's us, like let's say a married couple, let's say partners, let's say a customer and a supplier, when they see each other as us, that's 2 who are becoming one. When these 2 are opposing each other, that's normal, but this is a disease. Separation is the biggest disease. Okay, what does that mean? So we said it's not by coincidence that the Torah was given on Mount Sinai on the month of Sivan, because the Torah is about taking the right column, the left column, central column, and merging them into one. That's a 2 who are one. And that's one of the reasons when it says that on Mount Sinai Revelation that Am Israel, the nation of Israel, is Am Segula. The word Segol has few meanings, but one of the Segol is a vowel. And this vowel is made of 3 dots, like a triangle. Like a triangle. Okay, what does it mean 3 dots like a triangle? Right, left, and center. Abram, Isaac, and Jacob. Giving, receiving, and balancing. What does it mean? So again, the test. Do like this. Okay, put your finger in front of your eyes. Look at the finger only with your right eye. Okay, now close that right eye and open the left eye. Again, close the left eye and the right eye, open it. So, do you see the same picture with both eyes? No. Each eye sees another picture. Now look at your finger with both eyes. I hope you see only one finger. How could that be? How come your both eyes are not arguing with each other who's right? No, not just that they don't argue with each other, they support each other and they give you a 3D picture, which means the fact that I don't see what you see gives me another angle of reality, and together, both of us, we see a big, more holistic picture of reality. So the fact that somebody doesn't think like me, that's a plus. Why? If he thinks like me, I don't need him. I don't really see. I have me already. I need somebody who sees the way things the way I don't see it. Why? Because there are angles of reality that I don't understand, that I don't know. When I listen to somebody else that he sees differently, we can, all of us, see better. It's called brainstorming. Brainstorming is when people bring their point of view and they do not try to prove you wrong. They say, you know what? You have a point. You don't see as I do. I don't see that you do, but together we see more angles of the truth. When a person gets drunk, he loses his central column. Then he starts to see double. Then when he walks with the right foot, it takes him all the way to the right. And when he walks with the left foot, it takes him all the way to the left. So he sways right and left. And that's one of the ways to check if somebody is drunk. The policeman says, get out of the car. Walk on the right line, correct? Because when you walk on the right line and you're drunk, you can walk straight. The Torah is teaching us to walk straight, which means it's teaching us to see the other person and me as one. Because when I look at the other person and I realize that I need him because he sees what I cannot see. My right eye needs the left eye because the one can see what the others cannot see. That's why they need each other. That's why when a person is healthy, they don't argue who is right. Both are right. And that means the Torah is teaching us if we are negotiating with somebody else, it always has to be a win-win situation because that's called a tree of life situation. But if it's about win-lose, it's tree of knowledge, good and evil. If it's good for you, it's bad for me. Okay? That, as we learned, cannot be. It's not reality. When we look at reality this way, we have to go and study some more. Why? Because somehow our sight is not aligned. And when our sight is not aligned, we see everybody as an enemy. We see everybody as a threat. That moment you already lost the negotiation before you even started. So yes, a lot of people have a lot of problems. It's like we don't have any problems, right? That we are all righteous. It's only about them, right? That's a secret. Nobody knows. We are okay. Everybody has, that's their problem. No, everybody has problems. If you think you have no problems, that you're perfect, how come you don't have wings and you're not an angel in the Garden of Eden? Huh? If you're here, you have some problems to fix. And you need other people to fix it with. By the interaction, that's why love others as you love yourself. Rabbi is saying, this is the mitzvah that has the highest, most intense feedback to show you you're the right direction or you're in the wrong direction. This is what it is about. So what the Torah is teaching us, when you study the Torah, you study for one purpose, to learn how to see the two images and to merge them into one. The one of the right eye and the left eye. That's just as an example. My interest and their interest. Let's say two people, it's a worker and employee. It's a husband and wife. You know, life is full of these, looks like it's a quarrel, it's a fight, it's a power struggle. The moment you see from the place of the tree of life, it's not a fight, it's not a struggle, it's uplifting. How do you uplift yourself? Only when you connect to the central column, which is the state of mind that the Torah gives you, the tree of life consciousness. What does it mean? God loves everyone. Everyone was created to be happy. And when you see somebody suffering, you know that within that person there is a soul that wants to be happy. And the same way I need to be supported when I am off, I want others to hug me and to be there for me when they are off. So you understand what I'm saying? And that's why what we said before, when we said in Parashat Naso, in Parashat Bamidbar, what is BeHaalotkha? Rabbi is saying the only way we can really raise ourselves to a real positive, constructive place is with a positive community. Not every community is positive. You know, in many communities, in many religions, being part of a community means a lot of headache. That's why most people today don't want to be part of a community. Why? Religious community was like everybody is looking, what's wrong with you? You know, and everybody, so you keep yourself like you don't tell anyone. Why? Because the moment you tell, somebody will say, that's not kosher enough, that's not good enough, that's not okay enough, you're not that holy as you're supposed to be, and so on. Criticism in a community. That can be also in a family or anywhere, or company. What the sages are saying, if you are running a company and you put everyone down, you go down with them. You know why? Because when something wrong will happen, they will not tell you. You know why? They're afraid from your criticism. You know what will happen? The whole company will fall apart. You won't even know because everybody will tell you. everything is great, everything great, master, whatever. You have no idea what's going on. But if you just support each one and you just elevate each one, raise their head, show them how important they are, and let's, as Rabbi is saying, you are in a community that everybody looks at you and sees you the way you are, with your faults, with your negativities, but he sees within that you are going to be one of the greatest souls ever. And he trusts you that you're going to make it. And he relates to you this way. How would you behave? You will go higher and higher and higher. You'll be uplifted by your community more and more. That's why you need a community. If you have a community that everybody is there just busy putting you down, you're in the wrong place. Get out of there. That's not for you. Not for you. A community is made for support, that people together, I cannot lift myself by myself. I cannot. I'm a human being, says Rav Ashland. No one can lift himself like this up in the air. So I need you, my teammates, my colleagues, my neighbors, my community members. I need you to lift me up, and I lift you up. That's BeHaalotkha. When you look at everyone in a way, I see that you have problems, but I know you're going to be great because God created you to be great. You know what will happen? If you think like this and you look at each one like this in a community, everybody will become this way. Everybody will become, because this is the most powerful force on earth. And that's what the Torah is teaching us to behave like. And that's why it's the tree of life, because you believe in yourself that you can become a tree of life and a representative of the tree of life. So what about how that resolves the issue of the 7 candles shining in front of the candelabra? Okay? And the answer is very simple. How would that happen? That will happen because when you learn the tree of life consciousness, that's studying the Torah, you learn that you have a double mission of synthesis. One is to see that everyone is one. We all in it together. That's one thing. The other thing is, we're in it together because when we are there together, we're uniting the upper world with the lower world. So when Aaron was lighting the candles below in the physical golden candelabra, he did it with a consciousness to light the 7 candles up above. Which means when you understand that every action below is there in order to create an action above. So your brain, when you synthesize with other people, you also learn to synthesize the upper world and the lower world. Olam haba, the world to come, Olam hazeh, this physical world. You learn to see when you take an apple, you don't just see the fruit. You see the holy sparks in it. And when you see the holy sparks in it, you cannot eat it without blessing on it, because you want to connect not just to the vitamins and the calories and the taste. You want to connect to the holy sparks that God put inside his apple. So you're eating the apple on 2 levels, one on the physical, one on the spiritual. You light candles in 2 levels, one in the upper world, one in the lower world. And that's what humans can do. Humans have the ability to create this augmented reality that whatever you look at, you impose on it, you merge into it, you synthesize in it the spiritual realm. So every object you sell, you're not just selling a physical object, you're selling some bliss that is vested inside that object. So people, when they buy, they don't just buy the physical object, they buy the energy within. Some places you go and you see this, on the packaging of the product, made with love. When people make it, but they make it with love, it has a different feel. Why? Because we humans, we are magical creatures. We have to put the magic in everything we do, and that magic is called the tree of life. Merging the upper world, into this physical world. When you do that, everything will be satisfying. Everything will be meaningful. Everything will be uplifting. And that's what BeHaalotkha is about. When is that you raise? When you take the right, which means I'm here to share, but not till I'm depleted. I have to receive also. I need what's in it in me, for me, also, which is when I share, when I do anything, I do it to connect to the light of the Creator, and I have to be focusing on it. That's a right and that's a left. And when you merge them and synthesize them into one, that I receive, and when I receive, I'm sharing. Because I'm sharing with God, because He created me to receive. So when I receive, I do His will, right? And when I receive, I also make other people's will, because when we are connected as one and I create positivity, the whole world becomes positive. Because we are all connected as one. And then from a simple, nothing human being that is meaningless, you become a powerhouse. Because that's what the Talmud says. You have to see at the same time that that you were created to serve the whole world. At the same time that the whole world was created to serve you. When we understand that, we understand what Rabbi is saying, the whole world will never be the same without you. But nobody knows about it. That doesn't matter. It's important that you connect your conscious mind and your heart to that in everything you do. And by that, when you light the physical candles, you make the spiritual candles shine in front of them in the upper world. Does everybody see it? No. Do you care? You'd like to make them feel that. But first of all, you have to feel that. Now, being in such an uplifting place, but there's always the opportunity to earn it. No free lunches. They're always the place we fall. We're humans. One of the biggest problems with humans is they look for perfection. We're not perfect. If we were perfect, we were not here. If we were perfect, we cannot turn darkness into light, or negative into like the good, evil into good, bitterness into sweet. That's how it becomes great when you have this challenge. So always you have in this parasha, whenever you rise, whenever you elevate, there's always the fear to fall, and it's not a fear; it should be awe. You should always be careful and never in a place of, I've done it, it's great, I'm safe. You're never safe. Why you're never safe? Because as long as you live, the job is not done. So there'll always be another opportunity. And that's why we have this Vayi bin Soaron. Bin Soa sounds like Naso, right? So the Zohar says, yes, it's not written the same, because Naso is Nun Sin Aleph, the Shoresh, and Nasoa is Nun Samech Ain. But it sounds the same. It's not exactly the same, but basically it is the same. Because Nasoa, traveling in Hebrew, Kabbalistically, the Zohar says Nasoa means revelation of light. Because when energy is being revealed, you move forward. When you have no energy, you're stuck. You go nowhere. Okay? So, Vayi bin Soaron, when there's a revelation of light, Kuma Hashem, raise up God. Can God raise up? No, Kima means, again, revelation of light. Revelation of light means all the darkness will go away. When a person is feel obsessed with negativity, you have to connect to the light. Don't fight darkness, because the way to fight darkness is connecting to light. That's the only way to fight darkness. So bring in the light. And that's why you have the two nuns over there. And nun in Hebrew symbolizes nefila, falling. But a reverse nun, that's an antidote for falling. It's there implanted in the Torah, those two nuns, to give us this week. We got Mount Sinai revelation on Shavuot. But you feel that high of the light of Shavuot and so on, and you can any moment fall apart because you become complacent. Use the noon. Use that falling of the complaining and so on, that to know it looks the world, everything is great. We made it. No, you didn't. Another challenge is on its way. Don't get upset when the challenge is coming. You just look at it and say, we did with the first one. Now we do with the next one. And then the next one and the next one. Just, you have always a second chance. We read it. Always you have a second chance. Let's say you missed the second chance. You'll have another second chance. And another second chance. This is what life is about. This is so realistic. But always, not when you try to become perfected. We're not. Only when you try to elevate yourself and the people around you and the rest of the world. Thank you so much, and have a great week.
Thank you.